In the year 2347, humanity lived in peace across dozens of star systems. They called their civilization the Stellar Commonwealth. After 200 years without war, most weapons had been locked away or turned into tools for everyday use. People no longer feared attacks from aliens or other humans. Dr. Eliza Wright worked on a small research station called Helios 7 at the edge of Commonwealth space. She studied alien life forms on distant planets. Her work was usually quiet and peaceful. That changed on a Tuesday morning. Eliza sat at her desk, drinking coffee and looking at samples from a new ocean planet. Her computer screen flashed red. A message appeared. Emergency transmission. She put down her coffee and opened the message. It came from Harvest Moon, a farming colony about 2 light-years away. The video was broken and full of static. A man's face appeared on screen. His forehead was bleeding and smoke filled the air behind him. "This is Colony Director Peter Collins on Harvest Moon. We are under attack. I repeat, we are under attack by unknown forces. They came without warning." The man looked over his shoulder as something crashed nearby. "They're not like anything we've seen before. Black ships like living creatures tearing through our defenses. Send help immediately. Anyone who receives this, please." The transmission cut to static, then showed brief flashes of the colony. Buildings burned. Strange black shapes moved through the streets. People ran screaming. Then the video ended. Eliza's hand shook as she replayed the message. She had seen something like this before, in old videos her parents had shown her. Her mother and father had both died in the Proxima War 30 years ago. The black shapes in the video reminded her of weapons used in that conflict. She sent the message to Commonwealth headquarters, then tried calling Harvest Moon. No one answered. 3 hours later, Captain John Rivera arrived at Harvest Moon. His ship, the Starlight Voyager, was a civilian transport vessel that happened to be passing nearby. Commonwealth officials had asked him to check on the colony. John expected a false alarm or maybe a small attack by pirates. What he found was much worse. The Starlight Voyager's sensors showed no signs of human life on the planet's surface. The colony's buildings were mostly destroyed. Black, oily substances covered much of the ground. "My God," John whispered as he looked at the scanner readings. There were 5,000 people down there. His first officer, Linda Daniels, stood beside him on the bridge. "Should we send a team to look for survivors?" John shook his head. "Not yet. Whatever did this might still be around." He turned to his communications officer. "Send everything. We're seeing back to Commonwealth headquarters. Tell them..." He paused, struggling to find the right words. "Tell them it's worse than anyone could imagine." Back at Commonwealth headquarters on Earth, officials gathered in an emergency meeting. They displayed the footage from both the original SOS and from Captain Rivera's ship. "It can't be," said Governor Patricia Miller. "We've had peace for so long. Who would attack us? And with what technology?" Admiral Sophia Grant, one of the few remaining military commanders, studied the images carefully. "This doesn't match any known species we've encountered. And those black shapes..." She zoomed in on one image. "That's not a normal spacecraft. It almost looks alive." "What are our options?" asked another official. "The defense fleet is mostly science vessels and patrol ships. We haven't built real warships in decades." Admiral Grant frowned. "Most of our military resources were dismantled after the Great Peace 30 years ago. We have some weapons in storage, but nothing that could face a threat like this." A young officer standing near the back of the room cleared his throat. "Ma'am, there is one option." All eyes turned to him. He was Lieutenant Alan Pierce recently, assigned to the Historical Archives Division. "Speak up, Lieutenant," Admiral Grant said. "Project Vigilant, ma'am." He stepped forward. "I've been organizing the classified files from the Proxima War. There are references to a secret installation that was never officially decommissioned." The room grew quiet. "What kind of installation?" Admiral Grant asked. "A weapon, ma'am. The most powerful one humanity ever built." Alan looked nervous. "And a soldier to command it." Governor Miller shook her head. That's impossible. All superweapons were destroyed under the peace accords. Not this one, Alan said. According to the files, certain military leaders felt we needed an insurance policy, something to protect humanity if we ever faced extinction. They hid it away somewhere off the normal star charts. Admiral Grant's expression darkened. I've heard rumors about this, a doomsday weapon called Nemesis. Yes, ma'am, Alan confirmed. And its commander, a special soldier kept in stasis. The files call him, he checked his notes, the last war god. The officials argued for hours. More emergency calls came in from other colonies near Harvest Moon. 3 more settlements had gone silent. The unknown enemy was moving deeper into Commonwealth space. Finally, Admiral Grant made a decision. She called Dr. Eliza Wright at Helios 7. Doctor, I need your help, she said when Eliza answered. Your parents worked on classified projects during the Proxima War, correct? Yes, Eliza replied, surprised. They were weapons researchers, but that was long ago. We believe you may have access to something we need. Admiral Grant leaned closer to the screen. Have you ever heard of Project Vigilant? Eliza's face went pale. Only whispers. My parents mentioned it once before they died. They said it was humanity's last hope if everything else failed. We need to find it, Doctor, and we need to wake it up. Admiral Grant's voice was grim. Because right now, we're facing something worse than anything we've seen before. On the bridge of the Starlight, Voyager, John Rivera watched as more black ships appeared near Harvest Moon. They moved like hungry predators searching for more prey. Captain, Linda called out, we're receiving new orders from Earth. John looked at the message and frowned. They want us to pick up a Dr. Wright from Helios 7 and then proceed to coordinates that will be provided separately. He looked confused. Something called Project Vigilant? Linda's eyes widened. I thought that was just a myth. What is it? My grandfather fought in the Proxima War. He used to talk about a secret weapon, something so powerful it could end any conflict. Linda shivered. He said they also created a perfect soldier to use it, someone who wasn't quite human anymore. John stared back at the devastated colony below. Whatever had done this was still out there, and probably heading toward other human worlds. Set course for Helios 7, he ordered. If there's something that can fight these things, we need to find it fast. As the Starlight Voyager turned away from the ruined colony, one of the black ships noticed it. It changed direction, following silently. The hunt had begun. The Starlight Voyager arrived at Helios 7 research station 6 hours later. John Rivera felt uneasy as his ship approached the small station. The memory of Harvest Moon's destruction stayed with him. He kept checking the sensors for any sign of the black ships. Eliza Wright waited in the docking bay with a small bag of personal items. She had spent the past hours searching through her parents' old files, looking for any information about Project Vigilant. She found only a few mentions and a strange set of numbers that might be coordinates. When John stepped off his ship, he noticed how tired Eliza looked. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but they burned with determination. Dr. Wright? He asked, extending his hand. Captain Rivera, she replied, shaking it firmly. Thank you for coming. Did you see it? The colony? John nodded grimly. There was nothing left to save. Whatever attacked them was thorough. We need to hurry, Eliza said. 2 more colonies have gone silent since you left Harvest Moon. On Oindu. The bridge of the Starlight Voyager. Eliza met the rest of the crew. First Officer Linda Daniels greeted her with respect. The ship's engineer, a man named Kyle Martinez, nodded from his station. He had served in the Commonwealth Defense Force before joining the civilian transport. Admiral Grant sent us these coordinates, John said, showing Eliza a star map. But they lead to empty space as far as our charts show. Eliza compared them with the numbers she had found. These are different from what I discovered in my parents' files. Maybe we need both sets to find the real location. Kyle stepped forward. May I? He asked, taking the coordinates. He plugged them into the navigation system. If we use one set as a starting point and the other as a vector. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. There. That gives us a specific location in the Artemis Nebula. There's nothing out there, Linda said, looking at the map. It's a dead zone with high radiation. Perfect place to hide something you don't want found, Kyle replied. John made his decision. Set course for the Artemis Nebula. Maximum speed. As the Starlight Voyager traveled, Admiral Grant contacted them with new information. A military specialist in AI systems, Dr. Maya Nelson, would join their team. They would pick her up at Junction Station, a small outpost on their way to the nebula. We've lost contact with 5 colonies now, Admiral Grant told them, her face grim on the view screen. The enemy is moving faster than we expected. Our defensive fleet is gathering, but she didn't finish the sentence. Everyone knew the Commonwealth ships were no match for the mysterious attackers. At Junction Station, Dr. Maya Nelson came aboard. She was quiet and serious, with dark hair cut short and eyes that missed nothing. I worked on military AI systems before they were banned, she told the group as they gathered in the ship's meeting room. If Project Vigilant has been dormant for decades, its systems might need updating. What exactly are we looking for? John asked. Eliza pulled up an old file on her tablet. According to what I found, Project Vigilant was the code name for an advanced warship called the Nemesis. It was built in secret during the final years of the Proxima War. I've heard stories, Kyle said. A dreadnought-class vessel with weapons that violated every treaty we had. They say it could destroy an entire fleet by itself. Maya nodded. The ship is only part of it. There was also a commander, someone specifically created to control such power. Created? Linda asked, looking uncomfortable. Enhanced humans were developed during the war, Maya explained. Soldiers with genetic modifications, neural implants, and specialized training. Most died in battle or from complications of their enhancements. The rest were decommissioned after the war. Except one, Eliza said quietly. The commander of the Nemesis. According to my parents' notes, he volunteered to remain in stasis, guarding the ship until humanity needed it again. The Starlight Voyager reached the coordinates 3 days later. At first, they found nothing but dust and radiation. Then Kyle noticed something strange about a nearby asteroid. Its orbit doesn't match the others, he said. And its radiation signature is too consistent, almost like it's artificial, Maya finished. It's a disguise. John brought the ship closer. Suddenly, a signal appeared on their communication system. A computerized voice spoke. Identity verification required for access to restricted military installation. Maya moved to the console. This is a challenge response system. We need the correct passcode. Eliza stepped forward. Try this. She read a sequence of letters and numbers from her parents' notes. The asteroid responded immediately. Its surface shimmered, revealing it was actually a holographic projection. Behind it floated a massive space station built into a real, smaller asteroid. Access granted. Welcome, Wright Family Authentication. The station's docking bay opened, large enough to fit their entire ship inside. John hesitated. It recognized. Your family name, he said to Eliza. She nodded. My parents helped design the Nemesis. They must have built in a backdoor access code. This could be a trap, Linda warned. We don't have much choice, John replied. Those black ships are destroying everything in their path. If there's even a chance this project can help us, he made his decision. Take us in, slow and careful. The Starlight Voyager entered the hidden station. Inside was a massive hangar, dark except for a few emergency lights that activated as they arrived. As they docked, the air system hummed too, life filling the station with breathable atmosphere. The team put on environmental suits as a precaution and entered the station. Their flashlights revealed a place frozen in time. Everything was covered in a thin layer of protective coating that had preserved the equipment. The power systems are still functional, Kyle said, checking a terminal. Just in standby mode. Maya found another terminal and started typing. The station's AI is intact but dormant. I'm trying to wake it up. The lights suddenly came on throughout the station. A female voice spoke from hidden speakers. Advanced, tactical holographic enhanced, neural assistant activated, Athena online, detecting Commonwealth civilian vessel. Current date indicates 30 years 7 months since last system check. Is this a drill or actual emergency situation? Actual emergency, Eliza responded. We need to activate Project Vigilant. There was a pause before Athena replied. Full authentication, required for Nemesis activation protocol. Genetic verification needed. A small panel opened in the wall next to Eliza. It contained a needle-like device. Please provide DNA sample for comparison with authorized personnel database, Athena requested. Eliza hesitated, then pressed her finger against the device. It pricked her skin, drawing a small drop of blood. Processing, Athena said. After a moment, match found. Dr. Eliza Wright, daughter of Drs. Daniel and Catherine Wright, level alpha clearance, authorization accepted. The far wall of the hangar began to move, revealing a hidden chamber beyond. As it opened fully, the team stood in shock at what they saw. Inside the massive chamber floated a ship unlike any in the Commonwealth fleet. It was huge, sleek and menacing, a perfect weapon designed for destruction. Along its side, barely visible in the dim light, was the name, USS Nemesis. My God, John whispered, it's real. But Maya was looking elsewhere, at a glowing pod near the control center. And so is he, she said quietly. The cryogenic pod contained a man, his features sharp even in frozen sleep. According to the display, he had been there for 30 years, waiting. Commander Gabriel Stone, Athena announced. Shall I begin revival procedures? No one spoke for several seconds as they stared at the man in the cryopod. Commander Gabriel Stone looked to be in his mid-30s, with a strong jaw and short military haircut. His face seemed peaceful, but there was something about his features that suggested power even in sleep. Is this wise? Linda asked, breaking the silence. Waking up a super soldier from a war that ended 30 years ago, John looked at the massive warship floating in the dock. Do we have a choice? Those black ships are destroying everything in their path. Eliza stepped forward. Begin revival procedures, she told Athena. The AI's voice was calm. Warning. Full. Revival will take approximately 2 hours. Commander Stone may experience disorientation and possible aggression upon waking. Medical support is advised. I'll help, Eliza said. I have medical training. The cryopod hummed as it began the warming process. Displays showed Gabriel's vital signs, which started to strengthen as his body slowly woke up. While they waited, Kyle and Maya explored the rest of the station. They found a control room overlooking the massive hangar where the Nemesis floated. This ship is incredible, Kyle said, looking at the technical readouts. Weapon systems I've never even heard of. Power generation that breaks every rule of physics I know. Maya was focused on the computer systems. The AI integration is far beyond anything in the Commonwealth now. Athena isn't just a helper program, she's designed to work directly with the commander, almost like an extension of his mind. Kyle moved to another section of the controls. Look at this. Weapons inventory. He whistled softly. Nova bombs. Dimensional disruptors. Nanite swarms. These were all banned after the war. Some of them were myths. I didn't think they actually existed. They existed, Maya said grimly. And someone decided to keep them ready, just in case. Back in the medical bay, Eliza watched Gabriel's vital signs. His heart rate was increasing and brain activity began to spike. His enhanced physiology is accelerating the revival process, Athena informed her. Estimated time to consciousness, 15 minutes. John, who had stayed with Eliza, frowned. Enhanced how exactly? Commander Stone underwent extensive genetic modification, neural enhancement, and cybernetic augmentation, Athena explained. His strength, speed, and reflexes are approximately 5 times human standard. His neural processing speed allows for faster tactical assessment than any unmodified human. His pain tolerance is— They turned him into a weapon, John interrupted. Correct, Athena confirmed. Commander Stone was the template for the ultimate soldier. The war ended before more could be produced. Gabriel's eyes suddenly opened. They were a startling blue, intense and alert. He sat up with lightning speed, taking in his surroundings in seconds. His gaze locked onto Eliza and John. Who are you? His voice was rough from disuse but powerful. Why have I been awakened? Eliza stepped forward cautiously. Commander Stone, I'm Dr. Eliza Wright. This is Captain John Rivera. We woke you because humanity is under attack. Gabriel's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. The Proxima Confederation? No, John replied. The war with Proxima ended 30 years ago. This is something new, something worse. Gabriel processed this information silently. Then he swung his legs over the side of the pod and stood up. He was tall, well over 6 feet, with the balanced stance of a predator. Show me, he said simply. In the control room, they showed Gabriel the footage from Harvest Moon and the other attacked colonies. He watched without comment, his face revealing nothing. We're calling them the Void Swarm, Eliza explained. They've destroyed 7 colonies so far and are moving toward the core systems. Recognition pattern match, Athena suddenly announced. Enemy signatures match classified file XR7, Project Eclipse. Gabriel's head snapped up. Project Eclipse was terminated. I led the mission myself. What is Project Eclipse? John asked. Gabriel looked at the footage again. During the war, both sides were developing bioweapons, living ships that could evolve and adapt. My team was sent to destroy a research station where the final prototypes were being kept. He turned to Athena. Confirm. All prototypes were destroyed. I set the charges myself. Records indicate complete destruction of research station, Athena replied. However, one research vessel was unaccounted for in final report. Gabriel's face hardened. They must have moved some samples off station before we arrived. He looked at the others. These aren't just ships, they're living weapons designed to hunt and consume. They use the matter they absorb to create more of themselves. That's why there were no bodies at Harvest Moon, John realized. They didn't just kill the colonists, they consumed them, Gabriel finished flatly, and used them to grow their swarm. Maya and Kyle joined them, bringing more information about the Nemesis. The ship is operational, Kyle reported. Power systems are at 87% capacity. Weapon systems need calibration, but they're functional. We need to inform Admiral Grant, John said. Get Commonwealth approval to use this ship. There's no time, Gabriel replied. How long before the swarm reaches a major population center? At their current speed, they'll reach New Montana Colony in 3 days, Eliza answered. It has a population of 12 million. Gabriel turned to Athena. Begin full activation sequence for the Nemesis. Prepare for immediate deployment. Wait, John protested. You can't just take a superweapon into Commonwealth space without authorization. The war is over. There are rules now. Gabriel looked at him coldly. Captain, I was created for one purpose, to protect humanity from extinction. That purpose hasn't changed. These creatures won't stop. Every colony they destroy makes them stronger. He gestured to the massive ship. The Nemesis wasn't built to follow rules. It was built to win wars. Eliza stepped between them. We should at least contact Admiral Grant. Let her know what we found. Gabriel considered this, then nodded. Make your call. But the Nemesis launches in 1 hour, with or without Commonwealth approval. While John contacted Admiral Grant, Gabriel walked onto the Nemesis for the first time in 30 years. The ship recognized him immediately, lights coming on as he moved through the corridors. In the massive bridge, he sat in the commander's chair and placed his hands on the neural interface panels. His eyes closed as the ship's systems connected, directly to his mind. Hello, old friend, he whispered. Eliza found him there a few minutes later. Admiral Grant is sending us coordinates. 3 more colonies have gone silent. The Commonwealth fleet is gathering, but they're outmatched. Gabriel opened his eyes. And their answer? They're desperate, Eliza said. The Council voted. They're giving you temporary command authority for this mission only. Gabriel stood up. Have your people come aboard. We launch in 30 minutes. Commander? Eliza hesitated. The Commonwealth isn't what it was 30 years ago. We've had peace for so long. Our people aren't prepared for this kind of war. No one ever is, Gabriel replied. His face softened slightly, showing the first real emotion since he woke. That's why they made me, Dr. Wright. So no one else would have to be. As the Nemesis prepared to launch, Gabriel stood on the bridge. With his new crew, John, Eliza, Maya, Kyle, and Linda. They looked small in the massive command center designed for a full military crew. Athena, plot course to intercept the Void Swarm, Gabriel ordered. All weapon systems online. It's time to remind these creatures why they should fear humanity. The massive engines of the Nemesis rumbled to life as the docking clamps released. Humanity's last war god was awake, and his wrath was about to be unleashed. The Nemesis moved through space faster than any Commonwealth ship. Its engines used technology that had been banned after the war. Gabriel stood on the bridge, his face calm as he monitored their progress. We'll reach New Montana in 14 hours, he announced. The Void Swarm will arrive there in approximately 18 hours. That doesn't give us much time, John said, looking at the tactical display. The colony has minimal defenses. They won't need them, Gabriel replied. We'll engage the swarm before it gets close to the planet. Kyle worked at the engineering station, trying to understand the ship's complex systems. The weapons are unlike anything I've ever seen, he reported. This ship could destroy an entire fleet by itself. That was the idea, Gabriel said. The Nemesis was designed to be the ultimate deterrent, one ship that could end any conflict. Eliza studied Gabriel as he worked. He moved with precise, efficient motions, never wasting energy. His eyes constantly scanned the displays, processing information faster than seemed humanly possible. You said you were created, she said carefully. What exactly does that mean? Gabriel didn't look away from his console. I volunteered for the enhancement program in the 3rd year of the war. They took the best soldiers and made us better, stronger, faster. He paused. Different. Different how? Eliza asked. Now Gabriel did turn to face her. They didn't just change our bodies. They changed our minds. Removed the hesitation that normal humans feel before taking a life. Eliminated the trauma that comes after. His blue eyes were cold. They called us war gods because we could do what normal people couldn't. Make the hard choices without breaking. The bridge fell silent. Linda looked uncomfortable, while John watched Gabriel with caution in his eyes. Maya broke the tension. Commander, I've been analyzing the Void Swarm's attack patterns. They seem to be learning, adapting their strategy with each colony they destroy. Gabriel nodded. Project Eclipse was designed to evolve. The more they consume, the smarter they become. Then we need to stop them now before they get any stronger, John said. As they approached New Montana, Athena detected a Commonwealth fleet gathered near the planet. 15 ships formed a defensive line, the largest military force assembled in decades. Admiral Grant's flagship, the Defender, led the formation. Commonwealth fleet is hailing us, Linda reported from the communications station. Put them through, Gabriel ordered. Admiral Grant's face appeared on the main screen. She looked tired but determined. Commander Stone, when they told me they were waking you up, I didn't quite believe it. Admiral, Gabriel acknowledged with a slight nod. Your fleet should pull back. The Nemesis will handle the swarm. Admiral Grant frowned. With all due respect, Commander, I can't allow one ship to face this threat alone, no matter how powerful you think it is. Your ships aren't designed for this fight, Gabriel insisted. The swarm will tear through them. Perhaps, Admiral Grant conceded. But we won't hide while our people are threatened. The Commonwealth fleet will stand with you. Gabriel's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Very well. Position your ships behind the Nemesis. Target any swarm vessels that break through our line, but maintain safe distance from our weapons discharge. The communication ended, and Gabriel turned to his small crew. Battle stations, Maya, work with Athena to identify the swarm's command patterns. Kyle, divert all available power to forward shields and main weapons array. Linda, maintain communication with the Commonwealth fleet. John, take the secondary tactical station. Eliza looked uncertain. What should I do? Gabriel pointed to a station near his command chair. Monitor the swarm's biological readings. Your expertise might help us understand how they're evolving. The Nemesis took position at the front of the Commonwealth fleet. Minutes later, Athena announced, Void swarm detected, approaching from Sector 7. Current count, 63 vessels. The main screen showed a mass of black, shifting shapes moving through space. They weren't uniform like normal ships. Each one seemed unique, with jagged edges and organic curves. They moved as one unit like a school of predatory fish. They've consumed 3 more colonies since Harvest Moon, Gabriel observed. They're larger now and more numerous. Reading unusual energy signatures, Maya reported. They appear to be communicating with each other. Gabriel sat in the command chair and placed his hands on the neural interface panels. His eyes closed briefly as he connected directly with the ship's systems. When he opened them again, his voice was cold and precise. Target the largest cluster. Fire primary cannon. The Nemesis shuddered as its main weapon discharged. A beam of blinding energy cut through space and struck the center of the swarm. Several of the black ships disintegrated instantly. The rest of the swarm scattered, then regrouped and charged toward the Nemesis. They're adapting already, Maya warned. Changing their formation to minimize exposure to our main weapon. Switch to multi-target mode, Gabriel ordered. Athena, calculate optimal firing solution. The Nemesis fired again, this time with dozens of smaller energy pulses that tracked individual swarm vessels. More of the black ships were destroyed, but the rest kept coming. The first wave hit the Nemesis's shields with tremendous force. The ship shook violently. Shields at 82%, Kyle reported. They're strong, but they're coordinating their attacks. The space around New Montana erupted into chaos as the battle began in earnest. The Nemesis moved with surprising agility for its size, turning and firing in all directions. Gabriel controlled the ship with fluid precision, his enhanced mind processing tactical information and responding faster than any normal human could. The Commonwealth fleet joined the fight, their smaller ships darting between the swarm vessels, firing whenever they found an opening. But they were clearly outmatched. 2 Commonwealth ships were quickly surrounded and torn apart by the black vessels. They're targeting our allies first, John observed. They know the Nemesis is the real threat. Gabriel's expression hardened. All power to the Helios array. Kyle looked up in surprise. Sir, that system is untested. The power requirements? Do it, Gabriel snapped. Now! The lights on the bridge dimmed as power flowed to a weapon system that had never been used in actual combat. The front of the Nemesis opened, revealing a massive array of crystalline structures. Commonwealth fleet pulled back immediately. Gabriel ordered over the communication system. Minimum safe distance 5,000 kilometers. As the Allied ships retreated, the Helios array began to glow with blinding intensity. The swarm seemed to sense the danger and tried to scatter. Firing, Gabriel said quietly. A wave of energy, unlike anything the crew had ever seen, erupted from the Nemesis. It wasn't a beam or a series of pulses, but an expanding sphere of pure destructive force. It washed over the swarm vessels, disintegrating them on contact. When the energy dissipated, more than half the swarm was gone. The remaining black ships retreated quickly, disappearing into the darkness of space. The bridge of the Nemesis was silent as everyone stared at the view screen. The power of what they had just witnessed was overwhelming. Did we win? Linda asked, finally. Gabriel shook his head. No. They're regrouping, learning. He stood up from the command chair, his movements suddenly less fluid. He stumbled, catching himself on the console. Eliza rushed to his side. You're bleeding, she said, noticing, A trickle of blood from his nose. Neural interface strain, Gabriel explained, wiping the blood away. The ship wasn't designed to channel that much power through one commander. Eliza scanned him with a medical device. Your neural pathways are showing signs of stress. You need rest. Gabriel ignored her, turning back to the tactical display. They're not done, and neither are we. The Nemesis had won its first battle, but the war was just beginning. The celebration on New Montana was short-lived. 6 hours after the battle, sensors detected the Void Swarm regrouping. They were joined by more black ships coming from the direction of the fallen colonies. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Gabriel studied the tactical display. Despite Eliza's concerns about his health, he had refused to rest. They're not just retreating, he said. They're gathering, building their numbers. The Commonwealth ships are still repairing from the last battle, John reported. 3 were destroyed, 4 more heavily damaged. Admiral Grant's face appeared on the communication screen. Commander Stone, our long-range scanners have detected something at the edge of the system. It appears to be the main swarm, much larger than what we faced. Gabriel nodded grimly. They've been sending advance forces to test our defenses and gather resources. Now they're ready for a full assault. The bridge crew exchanged worried glances. If the previous attack had been just a test, what would the main swarm be like? Maya had been working with Athena, analyzing data from the battle. I think I've found something, she announced. The swarm ships communicate using a specific frequency. They're all connected to a central intelligence. A hive mind, Eliza said. Just like in the original Project Eclipse design. Gabriel leaned forward. Can we trace it, find the source? Maya nodded. Athena and I have been tracking the signal patterns. We believe the central hub is located in the Theta sector near the Yay, ruins of Research Station Omega. That's where it all started, Gabriel said quietly. Where I was sent to destroy the prototypes. His face hardened. If we can reach the hub and destroy it, we might be able to stop all of the swarm at once. But the hub will be heavily protected, Kyle pointed out. If these advance forces were this strong, the hub will be surrounded by hundreds, maybe thousands of swarm ships. We need a plan, John said. Even the Nemesis can't fight those numbers. Gabriel was silent for a moment, thinking. Then he turned to Kyle. What's the status of the Singularity Cascade? Kyle looked shocked. You can't be serious. That weapon was never meant to be used. It was a theoretical last resort. What is it? Eliza asked. A weapon that creates a controlled black hole, Gabriel explained. It was designed to collapse entire star systems if necessary. That's monstrous, Linda said, horrified. It was a different time, Gabriel replied, his voice neutral. A time when humanity was facing extinction. Just like now, Maya added softly. Gabriel nodded. If we can get close enough to the hub, we can deploy the cascade. It would destroy the central intelligence controlling the swarm. And anything else within 50 million kilometers, Kyle added. There must be another way, Eliza insisted. Perhaps, Gabriel conceded. But we're running out of time. The main screen suddenly flashed red. Athena's voice was urgent. Alert. The Void Swarm has changed course. They are no longer heading toward New Montana. Where are they going? John asked. Based on their trajectory, their target is Earth, Athena replied. The bridge fell silent. Earth, with its 15 billion inhabitants, was the heart of the Commonwealth. They're learning faster than I expected, Gabriel said. They've identified our homeworld. Admiral Grant contacted them again. We've received the same data. The Commonwealth Council is evacuating key personnel, but there's no way to move billions of people in time. Gabriel's decision was immediate. We're going after the hub. Admiral, take your fleet to Earth. Delay the swarm as long as you can. That's a suicide mission, Commander, Admiral Grant said bluntly. Yes, Gabriel agreed, but it's the only way to end this permanently. After the communication ended, Gabriel addressed his small crew. I won't order any of you to come with me. The Nemesis can be operated with a minimal crew, just myself and Athena if necessary. I'm going, Kyle said immediately. You'll need an engineer to prepare the cascade. I'm coming too, Maya added. Someone needs to track the hub's signals. John and Linda exchanged looks, then nodded. We're with you, John said, all the way. Eliza stepped forward. And you'll need a doctor when you push yourself too far with that neural interface. Gabriel looked at them each in turn, his expression softening slightly. Thank you, he said simply. The Nemesis departed immediately, leaving the Commonwealth fleet to defend Earth. Using its advanced engines, the ship reached Theta Sector in just under 10 hours. As predicted, the area around the hub was swarming with the black ships. Kyle worked frantically to prepare the Singularity Cascade, while Maya pinpointed the exact location of the hub. Gabriel guided the Nemesis through the edges of the swarm, using asteroid fields and nebula clouds for cover. There, Maya said finally, pointing to a massive structure on the main screen. It looked like a giant black spider at the center of a web, pulsing with dark energy. Hundreds of swarm ships circled it protectively. We'll never get close enough to use the cascade, John said. They'll detect us before we're in range. Gabriel was silent for a moment. Then, Athena, prepare all weapon systems, divert all power, from life support if necessary. Gabriel, what are you planning? Eliza asked, concerned. We're going to punch a hole straight through their defenses, he replied. One path, directly to the hub. The ship won't survive that kind of assault, Kyle warned. It doesn't need to survive, Gabriel said. It just needs to get close enough. Linda looked up from her console. They've spotted us. Multiple swarm ships approaching. All hands, secure for combat, Gabriel ordered. He sat in the command chair and connected to the neural interface. This time blood began trickling from his nose almost immediately. All weapons fire at will, he commanded. The Nemesis unleashed everything it had. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and gravity mines tore through the first wave of swarm ships. The Nemesis drove forward like a spear, aiming directly for the heart of the swarm, but the black ships kept coming, surrounding the Nemesis, tearing at its shields. The ship shuddered with each impact. Shields at 40%, Kyle reported. Hull breaches on decks 5 through 8. A massive explosion rocked the ship. Linda was thrown from her station, injured by falling debris. John moved to help her. We're not going to make it, Maya said, looking at the distance to the hub. Gabriel's face was pale, blood now coming from his ears as well as his nose. The neural interface was killing him, but he didn't disconnect. The cascade, he said, his voice strained. Is it ready? Kyle nodded. Yes, but we're still too far from the hub. Gabriel made his final decision. Prepare a shuttle. All of you get to the escape pods. What are you doing? Eliza demanded. I'll take the cascade in a shuttle, Gabriel explained. The Nemesis will create a diversion. That's certain death, John protested. Gabriel smiled faintly. I died 30 years ago, Captain. I've been living on borrowed time. Before anyone could argue further, a violent impact rocked the ship again. Go, Gabriel shouted. That's an order. As the crew reluctantly headed for the escape pods, Eliza remained behind. I'm staying to monitor your vitals, she insisted. Gabriel looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. Until the last moment. The battle raged as the Nemesis continued its desperate charge toward the hub. Gabriel guided the shuttle with the cascade device through the chaos, using the larger ship as cover. When the shuttle was in position, Gabriel turned to Eliza. It's time for you to go. Instead of answering, Eliza injected him with a sedative. As his vision blurred, she said, Humanity still needs its war god, Gabriel. I'll activate the cascade. The last thing Gabriel saw before losing consciousness was Eliza pushing him into an escape pod and launching it away from the hub. When he woke hours later, rescued by a Commonwealth ship, he learned the truth. Eliza had succeeded. The Singularity Cascade had destroyed the hub and all connected swarm ships throughout the galaxy. The sudden vacuum had also claimed the Nemesis and the brave doctor who had made the ultimate sacrifice. 6 months later, Gabriel Stone stood before the rebuilt Commonwealth Council. They offered him medals, honors, a place in the new defense force they were building. He declined them all. That night, He looked up at the stars from a quiet beach on Earth. For the first time in his existence, he felt lost. He had been created for war, but the war was over. Again. As he turned to leave, his communication device beeped. A message appeared. Coordinates to a distant, uninhabited planet. The signature simply read, E. Gabriel smiled. Perhaps the war god had served his purpose after all. Perhaps now he could learn to live